That was nice.
Yeah, there.
Oh, I'm on. Hopefully for a while to go. Long time no see, Tolma 4 team.
Yeah.
So we fiddled a little bit with some cables, we fiddled with some settings, and hopefully we're just gonna play the game here. Welcome back to you all to our stream. Let's relax. Let's drink some tea or a beer and play some Godhood. I'm just gonna launch back into my spiel, you know, for everyone that is just tuned in and didn't catch all those amazing mini streams that we did before this. They had a lot of good jokes, some good moments. We really enjoyed it. We're Abbey Games. I'm Rick. I'm here with Yoni and Manuel, two of the other developers. They're off screen. And we're going to be streaming Godhood, a PC strategy god game that we've been developing since 2016. And we are running a Kickstarter for right now in order to expand the game with even more cool stuff. Now, in the game, you're going to be playing a young tribal god that builds their own religion. So let's start a new game. This is super alpha build. It's really work in progress. In fact, a bunch of the stuff that we're working on now is already more advanced than what we have to show here. But you know, we have what we have. In this build, we're only going to be able to build a war god. Now, in the finished game, you're going to be able to create all kinds of different gods. But for this stream, we've narrowed it down to just one. But it doesn't mean we can't have some fun, because we need to name our god. And I was hoping maybe if someone in stream had a good idea for a cool name, that we could use it. I'm hyped for Ancient Horror 2, Shatrax. Let's make this Kickstarter a success, shall we? I'm hearing some cool names. Some really scary sounding names. So we got a question from Wizard for the Win, asking if the game is a sandbox or if there's a fixed goal. It is a little bit of column A and a little bit of column B. You're going to be able to really work out your religion sort of in any way you want, but you are leveling up your god and growing more powerful. And there is a goal to the game, which is to become the most powerful god in the land, essentially. I'm still looking for god names. Cthulhu's a little too on the nose. Leort is definitely the scariest. We're going with Leort. That is the name of our war god. Now, our religion is called something... Leortism? That sounds good. And our worshippers, someone has said Warbringers, and I like that. That sounds like some people ready to do some axe grind, and I'm gonna pick red for our religious color, and we're gonna get started. The stream's still holding, so I think we're actually gonna be able to play this thing. Let me move the stream over to the side a little bit. A small tribe made its way through the jungles of Krakatoa. The tribe's people were starving and tired. In their most desperate moments, several young members of the tribe saw a sign. It was the sign of Leort, and it said to follow. These young tribes members became your first disciples. How nice. So the disciples are your most powerful worshippers. They're sort of like your hero classes, if you will. And we're going to see them in action real soon here. Because the tribe is divided. And the elders say that we should worship the dead ancestors instead of Leort, which is wrong, obviously. They ask Leort's disciples what he has to offer, or what they have to offer, that the ancestors do not. We have some options here. Endless riches and glory, a place in Leort's grand design, boundless love, or ancient wisdom. What are we feeling? I'm not getting much of a boundless love vibe off of Liort so far. I think I'm gonna go with endless riches and glory. The elders' eyes light up, but they remain stubborn. Only defeat in the sacrament will convince them. The sacrament is a ritual conflict that in this world is determined to show which god is strongest. And my disciples are going to face off against these stubborn elders to prove to them that Liort is the rightful god to worship. So here we go. I'm going to get into some more detail on the sacrament later down the line when we do some more later in the stream. But for now, know that I am not in direct control of my disciples. Later in the game, I will have the ability to level them up. Depending on how my religion develops, they might even gain unique skills or personality traits and things like that. Oh no, that determine how they act in combat. But since it's the start of the game, we're just gonna watch this fight and hope that they win. Got a condemn coming in from Chim, who's condemning the ancient elders. And with a big blow from Marala, we won that fight. A thing to note is that all the UI in this build so far is super work in progress. And as you just saw, we got 4 new Warbringers, the elders we defeated. Victory proves Liort's glory and convinces the elders they were wrong. Adarion asks Liort what must be done with these elders who lacked in their faith. We can forgive them, exile them, or sacrifice them to appease Liort. I'm gonna look for the chat to see what they think we should do here. Probably sacrifice. Maybe exile. Forgive them, I see someone say. Exile, exile, forgive. Exile. A lot of exiles, so that's what I'm gonna go with, I think. We're going to exile these elders. The elders accept their exile with a grim determination, and they are never seen again. We have gained 4 Warbringers. So, the main way that you're going to be developing your god is by gaining more worshippers, which in our game are called Warbringers. If we gain enough, like it says here, 15, we're going to level up our god level. And as our god level increases, we're going to be able to develop our religion a little bit more. Now we're going to launch into the game proper. This is our tribe, our little village. Some buildings are being built over here. We've got a couple of disciples lazying about, but not doing much of anything of use. With our godly power, we're going to change that. The main thing we want to do with our day is taking our disciples, like Kim over here, and inspiring them to perform rituals in our honor. And with those rituals, they're going to level up and become more powerful, which is going to allow us to, you know, defeat other tribes in the sacrament, like you just saw, and gain more followers, like convince people that Liort is the rightful god. If you actually go to the Kickstarter and just scroll down a little bit, we go into a lot of detail on how this whole inspiration works, but I'll run you through this real quick here in just a little bit. Every disciple has a mind of their own. They have character traits and different feelings. Some of them are going to be known to you, others are going to be secret. And if we actually take a look here, Kim over here, this is their mind, and they are super happy. They will totally obey Liort's command because they really believe that Liort is doing the right thing, essentially, has taught them the right lessons and is answering their prayers. So if we inspire Kim here to do something, let's say go to the holy ground to pray, there's a really good chance that they're going to listen to us and heed our command, so to say. So let's do that and let's see how it goes. As you see, Kim is happily doing it. And there he goes, doing whatever Kim does to praise us on the holy grounds. Now, the Holy Grounds is going to teach Kim some ability progress, which is going to allow him to learn some new skills to use in the sacrament. Let's go ahead and assign some other disciples. We have 1 inspiration to spend right now, and inspirations are what is going to allow us to inspire these disciples to do specific things. And as we level up, we will also gain more of these inspirations. So let's tell Marala to go to the village center to help out. And she does it happily, obeying our command. Now, to see the results of these actions, we're going to continue on to the next day. So this game is actually slightly turn-based, where every turn is an in-game day, essentially. Kim finished her prayers, got some ability progress, and Marala earned some XP, which is going to level her up. So I heard someone in the chat asking if this was an RPG, and there are RPG-like elements to it, specifically in the leveling of your disciples, but it's also a god game. This holy temple site that we have here, we're going to be able to make it grow, add new structures and temples, and things like that. Let's see, Marala actually has an ability point to spend, so we're going to do that. Here's my first choice in leveling up Marala. So that's an interesting thing about this game, actually. Your disciples have a mind of their own, but you decide how to level them up. You sort of tell them like what the possible abilities are that they can use, but it's up to them to actually use them in combat and decide how to use them. Marala did a pretty good job fighting, but I'm going to teach her the block skill, so she's going to be a little bit better at blocking incoming damage. Akala here, who is a weaver, a magic user, I'm going to teach the condemn skill again, just to make sure that they do it. And Kim will get the defy skill, which is going to raise his defense against enemy morale attacks. And just one more time, I'm going to just assign the same trainings and proceed to the next day. Got some more ability progress here. And because Kim was so passionate about Liord's command, she actually got a bunch of extra progress, which is good. Now, let's start worrying about getting some more Warbringers in order for us to level up. We're currently a level 1 religion, a personal belief. And if we level up, we're going to actually be able to expand our religion a little bit. So how that works is we go on a mission. Missions can be performed at any time. And what we have here is the map of the world for our current playthrough. The map is procedurally generated every time you play, so that there's like different religions popping up, different enemy gods that you have to face, and things like that. So these are a bunch of neighboring tribes that we can send our disciples to on a mission in order to convince them, one way or another, whether by singing songs or saying our prayers, to punching them in the face repeatedly. That's up to us and how we develop our religion. Let's go over to these unguided druids that are residing in this lake. If we defeat them, we get some commodities, which we're going to be able to use to construct new temples so that people can perform rituals in our honor. And we're also going to get some glory and some new Warbringers, some new worshippers. So let's do that. Let's send this mission. We're going to pick some disciples to go. Adarian was fairly low level, so I'm not going to send him. I'm just going to send Kim, Akula, Marala. Actually, I guess he can come along. We have enough slots. And let's go. So, we're going to have to do a couple of sacraments in a row to defeat and convert these unguided druids to Leortism, as we called it. But if we take any damage during these sacraments, that actually carries over to the next one. So it's up to us to decide how far we push our disciples in trying to take control of this, or to convert these unbelievers. Now we're fighting a bunch of druids. In this build, you can tell by their cool little staff here, but we have some really cool concept art for like unique, what do you call that? Unique get-ups and unique looks for each class, so they look very different. And these druids are really good at morale defense, so that means that Kim isn't going to be able to perform all that well. So what I'm going to do here is I'm actually going to inspire my disciples to perform specific abilities in order to defeat these druids. Depending on a disciple's faith, which we'll get into later, they'll actually be better at this, or they might just completely ignore what I'm telling them. I'm going to tell Morala to focus on striking, Kim to focus on defying, and Darian to focus on striking as well. That way, Kim, with his defy ability, is actually going to be able to soak up some of their morale damage, while Morala and Adarian are going to lay the beat down on them. Let's see how this goes. Oh, nope. That's not what I wanted. Got a strike coming in. And another one, just like I wanted. So you actually see here, the characters are sort of rolling for the ability that they're going to use. And certain abilities, like you may have noticed, are actually on the wheel multiple times. And you can actually use this to your advantage. If you put an ability on the wheel more than one time, there's a bigger chance that the character is going to use that ability. I think we got this one. Let's see if Kim can block that condemn coming in. Oh, and he does! Kim with the rescue. Didn't get that one though. Morala's hurting. Her spirit is down. And she's really nervous. That's not good. The druids are going to get another turn here. Defy coming in. Oh, they're really targeting down Morala. This might actually be bad. We got a fully offensive round coming up, and we win. Okay. Alright, we made that one. Morala got through, but not without a scratch. A morale scratch, let's say. She's... Those druids got to her, man. I don't think she believes in Leord all that much anymore. And when we actually get back to the settlement in a moment, we're going to see the effects of that. And we're going to have to deal with her feeble faith, let's say. This gave us some Warbringers and some glory, which I'll explain in a minute. I want more Warbringers. I'm going to go again. I'm going to keep fighting these druids. We're going to go over to the Stone Tribe this time. I'm going to leave Morala out because she's already hurting. Put in Adarian instead. And I'm going to make Aquila do some nightmare spells. And these guys are really focused on physical blocking, as you can see. So I'm actually... Yeah, I'm going to keep with what I have. This should be good. Yeah, we're playing Leortism. We are all about exile and telling people what to do. Kim coming in with a defy. They're halfway down. Good, Kim. So what you saw there is Kim actually, because she cast a defy spell, that is a defensive ability, and it's going to cause her to sometimes interrupt an enemy attack. Whoa! So what you saw there was a huge hit by Adarian. This isn't feedbacked super well in this alpha build, but Adarian can actually do dark damage because she is a blood rage, a rage prophet. We changed the names of the classes around here. And the druid's actually weak to that, so Adarian did a huge amount of damage. Easy win. Get some more followers. Let's see how far we can push this. Because I'm gonna need a couple of more followers to level up, I believe. I think we have one more in us, at least. Let's go with the setup we were using before. Let's see how this goes. So, this is like an example of a very early game tribe to convert, let's say. Later down the line, the different encounters you face are gonna have like very different setups. So the disciples you bring, you're actually gonna have to make sure that their abilities like combo in one another, but also that they are able to properly defend against all the different enemy disciples, or take advantage of their weaknesses. So if you go against an enemy team multiple times, you're actually gonna have to make sure that they can defeat all these fights. I saw that there was a question about the automation of the battles. The battles in Godhood, the disciples themselves actually decide how to fight. You have no direct control over them because they have a mind of their own. However, there's a couple of things you can do to make sure that the battles go all right. For one, when you level up a disciple, you get to pick what abilities they get. And as your religion develops, you actually unlock unique abilities for your disciples. So a warlike religion is going to be much more suited to disciples that beat the shit. I wasn't going to swear. That beat the crap, that's not swearing, out of their enemies. Whereas a peace-like religion might not. In addition to that, every time that I tell disciples to fight, like I'm doing right here, I actually get to pick one of these skills that they've learned as their inspired ability. And that ability, you can actually tell here, it's fairly small, but you can see that ability is going to have a bigger chance of them using it because I've told them to do it. So over here, Kim only has one defy action, but because I've inspired her to perform it better, she actually gets 3 bonus ones. And if, depending on Kim's faith, there's actually a bigger chance that they'll do it, that they'll follow my inspiration, let's say. You can sort of think of it like a coach at a soccer game, in that way. Only you're a god that's a booming voice from the heavens telling them what to do. Which is kind of like a soccer coach, I suppose. Ooh, that missed. That's not good. Thanks to my producer, Yoni, for jumping and answering some questions in the chat while we convert these druids over here. So this is the final encounter. They're a lot tougher. We're fighting the voice of the forest here, which is a particularly powerful enemy disciple. We took down one of her henchmen, let's say. And let's hope that this... Oh, that did a lot of damage. Akala's down for the count. Kim is nervous. This is Kim's very first sacrament that he's in, I believe. So he's got reason to be nervous. I think we can pull it out here. Oh no. Oh no. My Adarian, my striker, is too nervous to do anything. The voice of the forest is going to condemn her. Or him, actually. Good Kim. Whew. We actually won. So every battle only lasts a certain amount of rounds. Actually, in this build, we're still playing around with the balancing of the battles there. We might just make it so it only ends at 0 conviction, the enemy team's HP. But because we had 6 and they had 3, we actually won that fight. So we actually got a whopping 10 Warbringers, a bunch of Godhood, and some Glory, which I'll explain what that is when we come back into our settlement. So that was a pretty successful mission there. We got a bunch of commodities, we've converted this tribe. So what that means is, when we explore the world map again, we can actually start exploring from that location on the map and explore deeper into the world. And we've achieved a really high glory tier. So I mentioned the disciples' faith every once in a while. Glory is how great your disciples believe you to be. So the higher your glory, the higher their faith, and the better they'll perform their tasks and follow your commandments. If I had pulled out early during that mission, I would have received a lot less glory, and I would have had more trouble training my disciples and telling them to perform rituals. I've leveled up. I actually got enough Warbringers to become a spiritual circle, a budding belief system. Oh, should I up my volume a little bit when I get back? Producer, give me a thumbs up. I'll do that when I have control again. So, now that I have the spiritual circle, I'm actually going to be able to get my first commandment. Now, those of you that have read up on the Kickstarter will know what a commandment is. Let me up the volume a little bit here. Yoni can give me the thumbs up when it's good. A commandment is the main way that you're going to be able to sort of shape your religion. In the example we're going to play now, we're actually going to gain the war commandment, which is going to make it so that our religion is really focused on warfare. So let's do that. In the final game, you're going to be able to get all kinds of different commandments, from peace to lust to greed. The Blood Tribe, an enemy tribe, stole a stock of our food. Morala argues for revenge. Oh, only sound effects. Oh. That's too bad, actually. There's no music? Oh. I'll see if I can fix that when we get out of this event here. Oh, this is a fun bug. Morala argues for revenge, but Morala also wants peace. And they're gonna fight to determine who's right. Normally two different disciples fight here. The two disciples thrash around, dueling with long sticks. Morala is victorious, proudly holding up their bloody stick, and that night a war band attacks the Blood Tribe's village and pillage and kill until Liort is satisfied. Yeah, she's probably passive-aggressive. Strength in war! We are now a warmongering religion. We've gained the war commandment. And this is all super alpha UI, but it's going to do a bunch of different things for us. For one, it's going to alter the personalities of our disciples. As you can see, Kim and Akola have become warmongers, while Morala is actually a pacifist. She doesn't really agree with the commandment that we laid down. And we're going to have to struggle with that in the game to come. We're also, we've unlocked a bunch of other stuff, but the main thing that we've unlocked is a unique structure that we're going to inspire our people to build, which is a Colosseum, where they can fight in honor of Liort. Let me actually check if I can get that music working. Let me save the game. This is no doubt going to backfire. Alright, that's fine. Let's quit to the main menu. See if I can get that music going. I've got music over here. That's good. Let's load up our Liort save. Hey, we got music. Sorry it took so long, guys. Now you can chill out with Yoni's chill vibes of Godhood. As you can see, we're building a Colosseum over here. But we're going to have to inspire some of her disciples to actually finish that construction. Except I tried to inspire Akola here. But Akola's faith, as we can tell, is dismally low. -10 of 100. Oh no, she's on the brink of losing faith and leaving Liortism for good. She will hardly listen to our divine inspirations. So right now we actually have no control over her. Depending on how we develop our religion, we might gain opportunities to punish her, to increase her faith momentarily, or to inspire her, hear her prayers, and increase her faith that way, and turn her back to the light, so to say. But a Darian here is going to construct this Colosseum, and I'm going to tell Morala to start constructing an altar in my honor. An altar of the sword or the sun. Okay. Sword or sun? What do we feel like? Sun. Sword. Yeah, this is an incredibly old UI. We got a lot of sun here. Praise the sun, I hear. Yes, let's praise the sun and dedicate this altar to the sun. So when Kim over here gets finished constructing it, it's gonna have a beautiful sun sculpture on it. The sounds of construction sped up. There we go. We finished building our Colosseum and our sweet new altar. Let's have some people fight, shall we? Let's have a Darian go to the Colosseum and Morala as well. Our two rage prophets are gonna duke it out in the Colosseum, and they're gonna increase their abilities. Specifically their might stat and sometimes their cunning as well. Let's see how that goes. I'm gonna up the volume here in a second. Yes. Adarian actually leveled up from training with Morala. That's great. And he gained a bunch of might stat and a bunch of cunning, which are going to make his abilities more powerful. So, about this sun dedication that we got going on over here. This system isn't in the alpha build as of yet, but I can tell you how it works right now in our latest build that we're developing currently. The war commandment that we picked has 3 tenets associated with it, which are destruction, vengeance, and tactics. Now, those are sort of the 3 facets of warmongering, and it's up to us to determine which of those 3 is more important than the others. If we level up one of these 3 tenets high enough, we can then dedicate a statue to it. So let's say we leveled up vengeance by agreeing with Morala, who is really into vengeance, and she says like, vengeance is good, and we say, yes, you're right, Morala, vengeance will level up. When we dedicate a statue, so let's say the sun, it would now become the vengeance sun, and from that point on we could place the vengeance sun on any of our temples to power up that temple and make it so that it teaches your disciples vengeance and special vengeance related skills, like counterattacking, for example. Now let's have a Darian here pray to the sun. And we can actually do something fun with Morala here. So while we had people fight in the Colosseum, we actually, we asked someone asking about blood sacrifices. Blood sacrifices are totally a thing. Not in this build just yet. However, you will notice we have gained a resource, Bloodlust. It is a specific resource for a war religion. And warlike activities will generate bloodlust, including, obviously blood sacrifice. We gained 15 bloodlust from our disciples duking it out in the Colosseum, and we're going to spend that bloodlust to send Morala on a raid. The raid is an example of a god action. It's a unique action that we gained because we became a war religion. Let's see how that works. Morala is going to go here. She's going to gather some warriors. And she's going to go off and do her thing. No doubt raiding maybe those druids that we convinced before. Any remnants of them. But we'll see her return in a couple of days. Hopefully with the loots and spoils of our conquest. We're just going to continue training a little bit. We're going to power up. So, we actually don't have an infinite amount of time to keep training. our glory, the glory that we gained during our mission, is actually slowly decreasing. And because our mission was a big success, we actually have a lot of glory to spend. So we have a lot of days of training and rituals ahead of us. Now once that glory runs out, however, it will start affecting our godhood meter over here. Every day that we aren't gaining new glory by sending our disciples out, our godhood will decrease, and if our godhood ever reaches 0, our religion crumbles and we go game over. So that's really bad. I will have some people praise the sun. It's actually a really powerful ritual. And actually notice something cool here. When we raided, or well, when we convinced those druids, obviously, to join Leortism, they gave us something. A magical object of theirs, the acorn that spoke. It's a talking acorn. And we can actually take this to our altar of the sun and, you know, make it part of the ritual. We can worship it. Also, don't notice there's a cool picture of someone stabbing someone else. That's not really what we're doing here. We're praising an acorn instead. So let's drag that over. Oh no, we can't. This is not the right ritual. Oh well. This ritual to the sun is only gonna allow certain types of objects, violent ones in this case. The acorn is a wisdom object. So if we build a different kind of temple, a temple of wisdom, let's say, or meditation, we might actually be able to make use of that acorn. Now let's spend some of our glory training here until Marala comes back. Oh, Kim convinces the spirit of a nearby tree to worship Leort. The tree promises to grow fresh, ripe fruits. How, you know, of course. All trees should promise us food. So we actually got some food resources for that, which we can spend to do stuff. Oh, and Marala is back with her raid. Marala leads a raid on the nearby tribe. What is the purpose of the raid? To plunder their food or attain more glory in victory? Well, I mean, we got some food from the tree, so I'm gonna say we get some more. Marala leads the raiding party to fall on the enemy's flank, catching their rock slingers unaware. Oh, how... We have to decide how much we're gonna press this advantage. Press this advantage and bathe in their blood, do some hit and run killings, or take some loot and flee, assuming it's a trap. I'm gonna press the advantage. Bathe in their blood. Marala fought hard and barely won the skirmish, but was wounded while routing the enemy. We got a bunch of food, and Marala was wounded, but it's okay. So, we got some training results here. Food is one of the resources we have. In addition to bloodlust, our war resource, and commodities, our building resource. And some of the rituals that we perform are actually going to be able to generate food as well. For instance, we could make a farm. I don't think I have enough commodities for that. That's too bad. But we could make some farmlands, for example. And the ritual of farming is going to produce extra food, which we can use to we can actually use those to customize our rituals further, build specific temples, and things like that. So food is actually, I think, a temporary resource for this build of the game. That's why I was stuttering just now, because I'm trying to remember what it was used for. In the new build, we actually have different base resources. But in this one, it's still food. So you're going to be trying to manage your religion's resources to grow your holy temple site, while inspiring your disciples to train. I'm actually noticing our glory is running low here. It's fading, and we should be planning for a mission. But we've also been running the stream for a little bit, and I was thinking maybe this was a good time to answer some questions. I hope you guys got a good idea of how Godhood plays, at least a warlike religion. I'd be really curious to try out some other types of religions the next stream that we play. Yeah, we got someone asking, would a non-war god use a different resource? Yeah, they would actually. If you are a god of greed, for example, you have a unique resource which is gold, and you can actually tell your, or well, let's say you can inspire your worshippers to make gold sacrifices to you, which can then be used, you know, for your own nefarious needs. Trying to think of what other stuff to talk about here. Mostly the Kickstarter, probably. So yeah, let's actually start wrapping it up there before we take some questions. That was Godhood. I hope you all enjoyed the stream. I'm just going to reiterate, that was an alpha build of the game, even earlier than some of the latest build that we're working on over here, which has some really cool, exciting new stuff that I'm actually going to be showing you guys in some Kickstarter updates in the weeks to come. But for now, I would love it for you to check out the Kickstarter. If you think you have friends that are interested in a cool new God game, share it with them, and let's see if we can make this Kickstarter a success together. Let me grab chat. Let's see how many backers we got. We're at 262. That's not bad. I'm just gonna start answering some questions. Yeah, someone asking about streams. We're gonna be doing at least one more stream near the end of the Kickstarter, actually. Probably a day or 2 or 3 before the end of the Kickstarter. Looking at my producer Yoni to see look for the thumbs up. But at that point, we're going to be streaming a much later build of the game with a lot more progress that's been done in the last couple of months. It's going to have a lot of cool stuff. I can guarantee that. For Sir Diella, that's a difficult name. Sir Diella Tottle, I think I got that right. Yes, the main way of gaining new worshippers is by the missions, by going out and actually converting enemy tribes to join your religion. There are other ways to gain worshippers depending on what kind of religion that you're playing. But that's the main one. Let's just say that if you're playing a lustful religion, there is a chance that you're going to be producing more worshippers through other means. Are there different abilities between choosing altar or sun or sword? Yeah, so like I was explaining before, sun and sword, that's just like two options. In the main game, we're going to have a whole bunch of ritual dedications, and each of those is essentially an empty vessel for you to tie to one of the tenets of your religion. Depending on the tenet and depending on the level of the tenet, that statue is then going to gain some special powers. So yes, if we had leveled up, say, our vengeance, and we made a sword of vengeance that would have specific level up abilities and things like that to teach disciples, as opposed to, let's say, we were also a god of chastity, and we had a like a heart sculpture dedicated to marriage, for example. That would probably give a disciple very different abilities and opportunities for progression. And the thing that I haven't mentioned is it's also going to change their personality as well, which is really cool. P-Stocks DD asking for goats. We're gonna have llamas, so I hope that's an answer. They're like big goats, and they're fluffier and better. Alright, let me look at my wrap-up notes here. That is close enough. Yeah, Ulison. We're gonna see how often we stream. It sort of depends on what we're able to show. I'd hate to do. Well, I wouldn't hate to do because I love making war, but I would like to do a different type of religion next time. So depending on where development is at, you know, if we're able to show off, let's say, a peace religion, and how different that is, that'd be really cool. I think we're gonna wrap up here. Thank you all so much for joining me for this stream. Hopefully we're going to be doing more. I would love for you to join that too. Again, check out the Kickstarter. Spread the word. Let's make it a success. And let's make sure that we unlock the ability to play as an eldritch god that is very tentacly. And, you know, maybe, you know, when we had a sun and a sword, maybe you're going to be able to dedicate a temple to tentacles? Madness? Cool stuff like that. Let's hope we get there. Alright, folks, I'm gonna head off. Have a good night, have a good day, and yeah, we'll see you around. Thank you.